Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the days of old, when ulama would have children, they would strive their utmost to impart the deen and its knowledge to them, with the intention of having their children surpass them in knowledge. Because what they had spent a lifetime obtaining of knowledge, they could now condense it and channel it to their children. That is the reason why the ulama of the previous generations flourished, because their aim was to protect and preserve the deen, not to protect and preserve their status and rank in society. Like today, where a person would be afraid that his son may end up becoming more knowledgeable than him, thereby leading to him stealing his limelight, which shouldn't be the case at all, especially if one's intention is to do things for the sake of Allah. So for us to say, Ya ghulam, innaka al-yawm afdala minni, O youngster, today you are better than me, it should come as something natural to us. But amongst the ulama families, where the son had surpassed the father in fame, is an Imam that was from the Salaf, coming just after the time of the Atba'u Tabi'een. His name was Imam Abu Bakr Ahmad ibn Umar ibn Muhayr al-Shaybani Rahimahullah, but he is best known as Imam Abu Bakr Al-Khassaaf Rahimahullah. Imam Abu Bakr Al-Khassaaf Rahimahullah was born in Baghdad in Iraq, roughly around the year 180 after Hijrah. His exact date of birth is not known, but when a person looks at his father's date of birth, as well as his teachers that Imam Abu Bakr al-Khassaaf rahimahullah studied by, then it would put his date of birth around the year 180 after Hijrah, give or take a few years. Coming from a home of knowledge, Imam Al-Khassaaf rahimahullah was exposed to ilm at a young age, as he began studying under his father, Imam Umar ibn Muhayr, or Amr ibn Muhayr as others have said his name was. Now Imam Umar ibn Muhayr was a great Imam in his own right. He was a student of both Imam Al-Hasan ibn Ziyad al-Lu'lu'i as well as Imam Muhammad ibn al-Hasan al-Shaybani Rahimahullaah, because he was born the very year that Imam Abu Hanifa Rahimahullah passed away. Therefore he didn't have the ability to study directly under Imam Abu Hanifa, but he had the next best thing, which was to study under two of the famous direct students of Imam Abu Hanifa Rahimahullah. Despite studying under his father, Imam Al-Khassaaf rahimahullah also studied under many of the great and famous ulama of his time. Amongst his teachers were Imam Abu Dawud al-Tayalisi, Imam Al-Waqidi, Imam Al-Qa'nabi, Imam Musaddad ibn Musarhad, Imam Wahb ibn Jarir, Imam Al-Dhahhak ibn Makhlad rahimahumullah, and others. Now for those who know hadith, they will know the ai of hadith. Thus they will recognize just how often these names come up in the chains of the narration of hadith. Imam Al-Khassaaf rahimahullah was a person of great piety and independence. He never stuck out his hand to anyone or waited on some endowment to be given to him. Rather, he would work and eat from the money that he would earn in this way. And it is from this work of Imam Abu Bakr al-Khassaaf rahimahullah that he gets this title of Al-Khassaaf, because Khassaaf is not relating to a place like Bukhara becoming Bukhari, rather it relates to a particular trade, and that trade is the mending of shoes and the like, because in Arabic someone who mends shoes is called a Khassaaf. The great Imam Abu Bakr al-Khassaaf rahimahullah preferred earning a halal rizq through his own efforts, doing something like mending people's shoes rather than be on anyone's payroll, because this way he could proclaim the truth without fear or favor, and he knew that every cent he earned was halal and could be accounted for, and that no one was oppressed nor were their rights usurped by this trade. This is despite the fact that if he had so wanted, then Imam Al-Khassaaf rahimahullah could have gotten himself a government post and earned money that way. Because Imam Al-Khassaaf rahimahullah was close to the Abbasid Khalifa at the time, who was known as Al-Muhtadi Billah, who was the grandson of the famous Abbasid ruler Al-Mu'tasim Billah. And it was for Al-Muhtadi Billah that Imam Al-Khassaaf rahimahullah wrote a kitab called Al-Kharaj, following in the footsteps of the Qaadhi al-Qudaa before him, Imam Abu Yusuf rahimahullah, that had written a kitab with the same name. Unfortunately, this is one of the books of Imam Al-Khassaaf rahimahullah that has not made it through the years to reach us. Because when Al-Muhtadi Billah was killed, naturally the place was sacked. So amongst the stuff that were taken was that kitab Al-Kharaj of Imam Al-Khassaaf rahimahullah. Certain people in life are just made for a particular role or skill, so they excel and are exemplary at it without it becoming a problem for them. For Imam Al-Khassaaf Rahimahullah, that skill was being a Qaadhi. It came so naturally to him that a person would think that he was born and bred only for the purpose of being a Qaadhi. Such was his knowledge and wisdom. The most famous kitab of Imam Abu Bakr Al-Khassaaf Rahimahullah that has survived the generations and reached us intact today is his one called Adabul Qaadhi, which relates to the Islamic legal and judicial system. Besides this, Imam Al-Khassaaf Rahimahullah also wrote many other kitabs on various topics, mainly following the path of Imam Abu Yusuf and Imam Muhammad Rahimahumullah, which is why many of his kitabs have the same names as theirs. Imam Al-Khassaaf Rahimahullah lived a life of piety and obedience to the commands of Allah, fulfilling his duties as a Qaadhi, and doing justice to the propagation of the knowledge that he had obtained of the deen, which was then preserving it for the next generations to come. Imam Abu Bakr Al-Khassaaf Rahimahullah passed away in the year 261 after Hijrah, at roughly the age of 80 years old. May Allah grant us the ability to do things for the sake of Allah alone, and to not get carried away with a sense of self-importance, and to work to earn a halal livelihood for ourselves and our families. آمين يا رب العالمين وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.